legend of Forsyth County in 1912 and how 1,100 residents, black residents, were ran out of the county after 2 women were raped. But let me tell you about Oscarville, Georgia. Oscarville, Georgia was a town that was mainly black owned. Most of the residents that were ran out of Forsyth County, they took residence in Oscarville, Georgia. Now, Oscarville, Georgia was where the supposed rape of the white woman, May Crow, went down by what was described as 4 black teenagers.
According to various accounts, 18-year-old May Crow is walking alone in the woods when she's struck repeatedly with a rock, reportedly sexually assaulted and left for dead.
She was hit so hard that her eye was dislodged from her skull and left hanging.
She's always kind of sent her.
Debbie Vermont is May Crow's grandniece. She keeps a portrait of her in her living room.
My grandmother always said that she was known to be the prettiest girl in Forsyth County.
Word of the attack spread quickly. Suspicion soon fell on a group of young African Americans. Local media condemned them, describing the trio as, quote, the fiendish, low-browed, gorilla-type Negroes. Enraged by the news, a mob immediately lynched one man.
You believe that some of your distant relatives took part in this lynching?
Yes, some of them I am fairly sure they did. These were the most aggrieved and grieving, who wanted justice for what had happened to their loved one.
2 others, both teenagers, were arrested, tried, and convicted. A prominent doctor volunteered land near his home for the court-ordered execution. An estimated 5,000 people showed up to watch the hangings.
Well, my grandmother would have been 18 months old, sitting in her mother's lap.
Watching someone being lynched?
Right.
So do you believe that those 3 people, the 2 teenagers, the one young man in his 20s, do you believe they were innocent?
I do believe they were innocent. I do believe. And I believe it's a huge cold case that's still sitting there to try to figure out exactly who did.
Now, this particular town had houses, stores, barns, probably churches, and a racetrack. The location of the town is now located under the popular Lake Lanier. If you look up Oscarville, Georgia in your Google search, it will pull up Lake Lanier. Now, we already know that Lake Lanier is a man-made lake that was made to make sure that Georgia was always replenished with water. It was dammed up and it was flooded. But let me give you a little bit more information about it. As they started to run out these 1,100 residents of Oscarville, what they didn't tell you was that some of the residents actually decided to stay and not get ran out of town by this white militia. The ones that did decide to stay hid and camped out in different wooded areas of the Oscarville area.
11 people have died in drowning or boating accidents on Lake Lanier this year, including a father and son. Charged with responding to all of those calls are divers with the local fire departments.
11 Alive's Caitlin Ross shows you what they deal with under the surface of Lake Lanier. It's dangerous and deadly environment.
You get yourself in trouble really quickly.
Lanier was built in the 1950s to provide drinking water and hydroelectric power for Atlanta. Recreation was an afterthought.
As they were building the lake, they raised the water level up to a certain point well below what we know of today as full pool, and then stopped filling the water.
From there, construction crews floated on the lake, cutting off the trees about halfway.
So today, those stumps are still there, and they're tall because this was forest land and farmland.
Also beneath the surface, old homes, barns, even a racetrack, which famously surfaced during the 2007 drought. You could see the tops of the stands, a haunted memory, waiting for spectators to show up for the next race.
They blew the old bridges in place, so you have concrete, rebar.
The divers work in teams, one person in the water and the other on the shore. They're tethered together by a rope and communicate by tugs on the rope. Divers say they never know what they're going to find.
So now, when you go to Lake Lanier, if you were to dive under Lake Lanier, you would find a barn, houses, probably even churches, a bridge, and a racetrack. This is the history that Georgia has been hiding from us for so many years, and now it's starting to come out. So please be careful going for a swim in Lake Lanier, because there is a doomed history up under that lake. And as the woman had already said, 11 people have died this year, and many people have died since the lake was dammed up and flooded. If y'all would like me to do more stories like this, please share this story with people that you know will be interested in it. And also make sure that you come back and tune into my Facebook timeline, as I will be dropping more historical things just like this. Until next time, y'all.